We all know that Gervonta Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson were once friends, but lately, they ain't really been rocking with each other like that. You know, we all saw the little back and forth they had a couple months ago, which Tank later revealed in an interview with $1 Million Worth of Game started from him and Shakur supposed to be cool, but Shakur would call him out in interviews saying that Tank didn't really want to fight him. But in that back and forth on Twitter, one thing that Tank said was that you say all this on the internet and in interviews, but then you show up to my fights trying to come take pictures in the locker room like a dick eater. And then when he said that, he posted a picture of him and Shakur in the locker room after his fight with Rolly Romero in Brooklyn, and Shakur was cheesing hard as shit in the picture. But as you can see, Tank was too. So Tank, if he really felt that way, he should have told him, nah, get out of my locker room. I ain't taking no picture. So it wasn't just Shakur. But I do understand Tank. Don't be talking in interviews. The interview was with, I never saw with Shakur. I said this before. I saw it recently, actually. The interview was with I Am Athlete and with Hating Ass Shady. Shady was on there hating again on Tank. But in that interview, Shakur said, Tank won't fight me. He no better than to get in the ring with me. So that was kind of crazy. So I do feel where Tank was coming from. But I told y'all, ever since Tank made Shakur look like a dick eater by saying he was in the locker room dicky and then posted that picture on Twitter, I told y'all, Shakur want to whoop Tank's ass. He been keeping it respectful. He been keeping it cordial. They ain't really been going back and forth no more. They been keeping it respectful. But I can see it. Shakur really want to beat Tank the fuck up. He ain't fooling me. And he been sending little shots that nobody's really been picking up lately. And this is one of them.
I enjoy watching Ray Leonard versus Duran too.
Oh, no mas.
Yeah, I enjoy that just because the frustration, the frustration on Duran. It looked like he couldn't hit him, and he was getting so frustrated he just quit.
How often do you think about, I want to do that to somebody? I want to make a motherfucker quit.
Oh yeah, I got somebody in mind I want to do that too, but nah, we gonna wait on that, sit on that, but I definitely want to do that in the fight.
Yeah.
Make somebody quit mentally, because that was like a mental breakdown where it's like it wasn't even the punches that made him quit. It was more so the frustration that he couldn't lay a glove on Sugar Ray Leonard. So
now, if you're not too familiar with what fight he's talking about the rematch in the second fight between Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard, where Ray Leonard just outboxed Roberto Duran to the point that he quit in the 8th round. He literally just stopped fighting. He just threw his hands up and quit out of frustration. He wasn't getting beat up too bad. He wasn't really getting hit with no crazy shots. He just couldn't touch him, and he quit. That's how frustrated he was. And Shakur saying this is what he wants to do to Tank. And you'll say, how do you know he wants to do that to Tank? How's it about Tank? Man, don't play stupid, people. We know in the fight between Shakur and Tank most likely will have to be the aggressor in that fight and be the one coming forward, just like Duran was with Sugar Ray Leonard. And another fight that Shakur had recently compared him and Tank to was Floyd and Canelo. Another fight where you had a Mexican coming forward trying to be aggressive and getting outboxed. Me personally, I don't see the fight between Tank and Shakur going like that. In my mind, I see it being more like Leonard versus Hagler, where the fight is super close. But we don't know. And the one thing to think about is Shakur's IQ is very high, so he could be right when he's breaking this fight down like this. If you like to gamble, whenever there's a big fight coming up, you should listen to Shakur and his prediction, what he got to say about it. Because I can't remember the last time I seen Shakur be wrong on a prediction. His IQ is very high. Even just recently, this past weekend with Ryan and Tank, Shakur said he was betting on the under 7.5 rounds. Most people thought it was going to be 8 or 9 rounds that Tank got Ryan out of there. Shakur said take the under 7.5. And what happened? Tank got him out of there in the 7th round. So who knows? Shakur might make it look easy like that. Like Canelo versus Floyd or Leonard versus Duran. I don't know. I don't think so. But we don't know. We won't know until the fight happens. And like I've been saying for a while, this is the best fight in the entire sport of boxing. Shakur and Tank are the clear 2 best fighters 140 pounds and under. These are special generational type fighters. These type of fighters with this talent and these IQs don't come around that often. And we got 2 of them, both young and in their prime, in the same weight class. This is the best fight that can be made in the entire sport. And Shakur is focused on Tank already. He been liking tweets. Every time he gets asked about it on Twitter, he's like, I can't wait. Shakur really want that fight. He not even worried about Devin Haney. He know he'll just walk through Devin Haney. That ain't nothing. A lot of people think that's going to be a close fight. Devin might win like 4 rounds, but that's going to be easy work for Shakur. So he not even worried about him. He focused on Tank. So I can't wait to see this fight. And I think it could happen this year, the end of this year or early next year. I think it could happen in either November, December, January, somewhere around that time. Because we know Tank got his court date coming up on May the 5th, where it's looking like he's most likely going to have to sit down and do some time. How much, we don't know. But you got to assume if it's a couple months or more, Tank will want to come home, get his body right, and get a tune-up fight, and not just jumping in there, coming home straight out of jail, and jumping in there with somebody like Shakur Stevenson. I don't think that would be smart. I think he would like to come home, get a tune-up, and then look to make that fight with Shakur. And for Shakur on the other end, so he don't got to be sitting around waiting that entire time, I think it only makes sense if Devin Haney is willing. It ain't looking like he is, but if he's willing, if he grows some nuts out of nowhere, I think the fight to make in the meantime while Tank is handling his situation is Devin versus Shakur. And who knows, if Devin pulls off the upset and beats Shakur, then it could be Tank versus Devin. But most likely if that Devin versus Shakur fight happens, Shakur's going to smoke him, and we going to get Shakur versus Tank, which is the fight that I want to see personally. But that's what I got for y'all. I'm out.